Are you a bit tired of Tarkov? Maybe you hit level 40 a few weeks back and it's starting to feel a little bit stale. Maybe you're one of those guys who still plays every day but seemingly hates every single aspect of the game. Despite the risk of sounding like your girlfriend after you get back from the pub, I want you to know that it's okay and that it happens to a lot of people. Don't worry though, you don't need to go on Reddit to complain, nor do you need to write a twit longer about the state of Tarkov. Instead, you can just try a new game whilst you wait for patch 12.12. So if you want to try out another hardcore FPS in a different setting with next gen jiggle physics, then maybe this video will be of interest to you.
Down one.
The footage you see here is from a game called Hunt Showdown. Some of you may already be aware of this game and recognise its gameplay. However, going by Hunt's average concurrent players on the Steam charts, I would bet it's safe to say that a lot of you will have never heard of it, or at least never have played it. And that is criminal. This game is incredibly fun and I think it fits the Tarkov crowd really well. At first glance, it's very different to Tarkov. It's got cowboys and revolvers and ghoulish monsters. However, scratch beneath the surface and you'll find that both have a lot of parallels and similarities that I'm going to explore in this video, whilst I encourage you to try something new and give Hunt Showdown a go. The main similarity that can be drawn between the two is their gameplay loops. Instead of your typical arena shooter or battle royale FPS, both Tarkov and Hunt have what can be described as a match-based, last man standing / survival style of gameplay. In both games, you equip a loadout paid for using an in-game currency or otherwise obtained from enemy players, and then take that loadout into a raid or hunt where you risk losing it all if you die. Whilst in a raid, various points of interest cause players to converge and fight each other. In Tarkov, it's scav bosses and high-value loot, and in Hunt, it's a variety of monstrous bosses that have bounties upon their grotesque heads. Once you have achieved what you set out to do, you head to an extract and hope to make it out alive. For most Tarkov players, the Hunt Showdown gameplay loop will be very familiar and easy to pick up. However, the pacing of the games, particularly between matches, is quite different. Hunt manages to move to a faster beat and rarely has the pacing issue commonly found in Tarkov. Oftentimes in EFT there will be a short burst of intense action near the beginning of a raid, followed by a feeling of emptiness as only the rats are left to pick at the scraps. By contrast, Hunt's matches tend to have their intense moments spaced more evenly throughout. Due to things like the map design, the audio cues, and the way players can track down the bounty carriers, it is fairly easy to find a fight if you are looking for one in Hunt Showdown. Similarly to Tarkov, once you have collected the bounties present on a map or killed a few enemy hunters, you'll likely want to head to the extract. If you extract successfully, you get to keep whatever gear you have on you and you will gain a varying amount of Hunt dollars and XP. This brings me to the next aspect of Hunt that appealed to me, namely the character progression. Hunt takes a different approach to character progression and does not have quests in the same sense as Tarkov, nor does it have player skills that can be leveled up, and the devs don't wipe everybody's progress on a regular basis, as is done in Tarkov. Instead, progression takes two forms: Hunter level and Bloodline level. Bloodline level is your overall account level, and all XP gained in a match goes towards your Bloodline level. As your Bloodline level increases, you unlock more weapons and traits that you can equip your various hunters with. Once your bloodline reaches 100, you can leave it there or opt to prestige, giving you a choice of 3 rewards, increasing your prestige rank and resetting your bloodline level to 0. This provides a long-term progression system for more committed players, reminiscent of the COD franchise, which I personally found to be an effective motivator. As well as bloodline levels, you also have a hunter level. Each hunter you take into a match gains XP based on your performance, and if they don't make it out of a raid, then they are gone for good. Hunters that survive and level up then acquire points which can be spent on useful traits that will make them more powerful. For me, this is where the feeling of risk and loss comes from in Hunt. Taking a high level hunter into a raid with an expensive loadout gives you that heightened sense of danger that makes the game that bit more exciting. Knowing that catching a bullet with your forehead could spell the end for your elite hunter gives a thrill akin to that of bringing out Classics armor in the early stages of a Tarkov wipe. Similarly, splashing the cash on some of the fancier guns in Hunt to get that edge on your opponent also adds to the risk versus reward style of gameplay that so many Tarkov players love. Talking of guns, that leads me nicely to the next section of my ode to Hunt, the gunplay. Now even Stevie Wonder can see that the guns available in the 2 games are very different. Tarkov is a contemporary milsim game with some of the most realistic and detailed gun models of any game in the market. The guns in Tarkov are so accurately portrayed that if you spend too much time learning about the game, you'll end up on some sort of government watch list. On the other hand, Hunt is set in the 19th century, and as such the guns available are the kind of thing you'd see Clint Eastwood threatening somebody with. You're definitely not going to be hosing people down with 60 rounds of rifle ammunition in the space of half a second in Hunt, but you'll definitely find the guns satisfying to use all the same. More importantly, the slower RPM of the guns makes for relatively slower fights. Don't get me wrong, fights in Hunt can all be over in an instant with a well-placed headshot or close-range shotgun blast, but the fact you can't rely on holding the left mouse button with a 60-round drum mag means that the gunfights can feel a lot more skillful and precise. The best way to describe it is every gunfight in Hunt Showdown feels like the gunfights you have in the first week of a Tarkov wipe. They're intense, a little bit scrappy, and arguably more tactical as you rely on positioning and game knowledge to compensate for the lack of overwhelming firepower. I feel like the guns are one of the things that might turn a lot of Tarkov players off of Hunt, but believe me when I say they are definitely fun to use, and once you get used to the different pace of gunfights, you will find them just as satisfying, if not more so than those in Tarkov. Which leads me to the final section of this video, the environment and setting. Again, this is an area which differs quite significantly from Tarkov. EFT is set in a fictional region of Russia in the near future. The environments in Tarkov are, in my opinion, incredible. The level of detail and the realistic feel of the urban environments and small forests creates an incredible sense of immersion that is really hard to match. The Hunt developers managed to also pull off this feat, but in a vastly different setting. When playing Hunt, you find yourself in one of 3 maps, all set in 19th century America. Hunters traverse a range of bayous, quarries, and ramshackle compounds in search of their prey and their paycheck. The environments of Hunt are visually stunning and equally as immersive as those in Tarkov. Despite a lot of the colour palette being dedicated to greys and browns, there are many occasions where I find myself stopping to appreciate my surroundings in Hunt. Whether it's the natural beauty of a body of water surrounded by lush trees on a sunny day, or staring with grim fascination at the creepy details of a boss's lair, Hunt provides many attention-grabbing things to look at. In terms of graphics and technical performance, Hunt is incredibly well optimized, which is a breath of fresh air compared to Tarkov's unfortunately less optimized state. It's not just the visuals either, but also the sound. Just like in Tarkov, the sounds in Hunt play an incredibly important role in giving the player information about what is going on around them. But the soundscape also adds so much to the atmospheric feel of the game. The shrieks of zombies, the whinnying of injured horses, and the clap of gunfire add so much to the intensity and immersion of the game. Every aspect of Hunt's environment, from what you can see to what you can hear, is finished to a very high degree, and it adds so much to the gameplay experience. I could keep going on about my newfound love in the hardcore FPS genre, but as with many things, I think it's better to go experience it yourself rather than just taking my word for it. If you've got this far into the video, please consider liking and subscribing. I usually put out Tarkov content, but for the foreseeable future, I'll be making Hunt Showdown videos. So if you want to see me kicking ass with a 6-shooter, be sure to stick around. I've been All Fun and James Zero, and thank you so much for watching.